Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kara here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in this video, we actually got Darthtotes here. He wanted to showcase something very cool. Before I even say anything, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the run. Here's the run. We're doing it. Full auto. LNRL. Taurus actually being used. One shot. This is so crazy. Look at this. All these poisons. Oh, it's insane. The game doesn't even know what to do. And boom, just one shots and boom, done. 7.2 million damage. I think that's a record on most damage, especially in that time frame. No people, I maybe you could do this with a whole bunch of setup, but 18 seconds or 17 seconds, dude. 17. That's a new record for his account. We've been doing it. It's been 18 seconds. So 17-second one shot of the spider. I think that's pretty awesome. So I was watching it. I figured I should get this in 1x speed. So here, let me change it to 1x speed. Let's check this out. This is just too cool not to see that quickly. Okay, so we landed the poisons. This is where it gets crazy. When he does all these poisons, and then they debuff extend, debuff duration extend, and then we got a ton on here. Cool thing too is the unkillable makes it to where all the spiderlings attack him, and then boom, just one shots. You can't even see the damage. It's so much. There's so much going on. You can't even see how much damage she's doing. It's so cool. And it's so well put together. Like, that's just 2 runs back to back. All the poison, it just works. It's so sick. So I don't know, watching stuff like this. This is just so cool. People like figuring stuff out like this. Like, double flesh terror, Taurus, Elenarl, of course, and then Richtoth the Bold. So I just think that's really cool. That's so cool. Okay. As you saw there, that was a one shot of Spider 20, one of the highest damage totals I've ever seen. Borderline world record. I know I've never seen this be done, especially on full auto like that, highlighting characters that are very unique. So I thought the whole combo of this deserved to be highlighted. So let's get into each characters that he used and why he used them. Okay, so here let's break down the comp that Darthtotes ended up using. So the big thing is going to be getting Elenarl here. So Elenarl needs to be used. Well, there's a couple interesting things. So in the comp, we have Elenarl, we have Richtoth the Bold, we have Flesh Terror, Taurus, and then another Flesh Terror. So see, that's the comp. Okay, but a couple interesting things to note. So the first character that needs to go first is going to be Elenarl. Reason being, on auto, she'll use this move, and then she'll use her poison explosion. So we need her to go first, spread the poisons, and then combust. That's why we are at 231 speed. And then surprisingly, the crit damage didn't really matter. I don't know if the move's critting or not, but I figured that this would need to be higher, 100% crit rate. And then obviously the accuracy needs to be high enough. So the interesting thing, I think the coolest thing is that all these characters are in toxic set, because he wanted at least one toxic proc to happen before the big explosion. We have Elenarl in one. We have Richtoth the Bold in one. We have Taurus in one. Just every single character, Flesh Terrors in one, because that's what's making it consistent, is having so many of them in toxic set. So at least one of them is going to apply, and then they get multiplied, or not multiplied, they get extended, which is what we need to make sure that she does enough damage. That's going to be the first character, and that's why there's toxic sets on everyone. And then enough speed. So second to go, Richtoth the Bold. Reason being why he's on the team is going to be this move here, which is attacks on enemy 3 times. Each hit places a 5% poison debuff on all enemies. So we're not only getting an all enemy poison here, attacks all enemies, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, places a second 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the attack is critical on all enemies. Now we're getting the mass poison spread. He's one of the best at applying a ton of poisons to a whole bunch of characters. And then next, we got probably the coolest creative decision when it comes to making a strat like this, which is Taurus here. So universally panned as one of the most garbage characters in the game, but he has a very unique move that is required to make this work. Okay, which is going to be this right here, his A3, which is this champion receives damage equal to 99% of their current HP, places an unkillable debuff on this champion for 2 turns, has an 80% chance, 100% chance when booked, of placing 3 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. So that's an amazing move. It's on the level of Darthtotes the Bold here in placing all these poisons. So I guess you could do this with multiple Darthtotes the Bolds if you wanted to, if you had them, or you could use a Taurus, and which is hilarious to me, but very cool addition to this style of team. And then lastly, it's going to be 2 Flesh Terrors. And so the whole point of Flesh Terror is going to be his A3 here, which is attacks on enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, and increases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. So it's adding a stack of poison to all the enemies, increasing the damage by a significant amount. And then we also have it again here too for the second Flesh Terror. And then having these guys go last on the rotation is adding as many possible times from all the other characters to add a stack of poisons or of the small poison to make sure the detonation is enough to one-shot the character. So, and then a couple other things I wanted to cover too, just to make it more clear, is going to be as well. What he wanted to show was the masteries. Literally everyone has Master Hexer. Like I should have showed this originally. So we got Master Hexer on her plus Toxic and then enough speed. And then this amount is very important. It's enough to where you got to be able to lap the boss. So having her go that fast is important. And then as you can see, the speeds really drop off. If you want to be able to lap the boss easier, just when it comes to manipulating turn meter, make sure one character is very fast and then the other ones are slower. Because what you're doing is you're setting the percentage of the turn meter of the main guy significantly lower. Because it's a percentage, the spider's initial turn meter is going to be a percentage of the fastest character. So that's why instead of just building everyone else's speed up total, what you could do is you could set the turn meter of one person very fast, and then you have other people that are relatively close, but you don't need to bump up everyone's speed. You just need to bump up that one person's speed. So that's why this is working here, where you have one person fast at the 231, then you have everyone else in like the 180 range. We got the first Richtof also in poison set, like I was saying, obviously with enough accuracy. He's very straightforward. There's not much to him. It's just going to be Master Hexer. Hopefully, you proc one of the small poisons, because that's another thing. That's how the run could not work, is if you just get very unlucky and then all 4 people do not proc that second, the 2.5% poison from the toxic set. That is a potential for it to not work. You'll do about 80% of the spider's health. It won't be a full one shot. Next character on the rotation is going to be Taurus here. Going to be very similar. Also, another thing that I thought was kind of interesting about this is it doesn't really matter about how much damage they do. It's just like look, 2 people are level 60, but everyone else is just level 48, level 50, level 50. They meet the requirement for accuracy. That's going to be something that makes it a little harder if you're going to be doing this, because you can't get the accuracy thing here, accuracy banner. So that's really the only thing he's missing out on, is the ease of being able to gear these characters fast enough with toxic set, with enough speed, with enough accuracy. That's the only thing he's really missing out on here, because he doesn't really matter about the last mastery. Doesn't really matter, about how much damage they do, or they obviously don't need to survive, because they're just we're going for the one shot anyway. And then so he's able to do it with this. Got just enough speed in the it looks like a 174 speed, and then obviously like 230 accuracy. And then again with the Master Hexer, see how he just went straight down to Master Hexer, and that's really all he cared about on masteries when it comes to these characters. And then again, here, let's go to Flesh Terror. So we have 1 Flesh Terror in the I didn't realize how bad the base speed was for Flesh Terror. 189. Wait, hold on, let me see. I want to see if they get better with like when you ascend him, if he gains speed. That has to be one of the slowest base speeds I've seen. No, 189. Jeez, that's pretty tough. So getting him, luckily you only need to get to around 170 speed. That's not terribly hard to do. Okay, and then we got Flesh Terror here. He's also going to be in the Master Hexer range, and then with also Sniper. Sniper's a big deal as well. But really not much else to say when it comes to gearing. Toxic set, enough speed, enough accuracy, damage doesn't matter. I was also telling him that I thought what was nice is you don't have to worry about the when you're doing the moves that they do enough damage to kill the spiders. Like I remember when I was trying to beat Spider 20 for the first time, I was trying to use an Ignatius strat where you have the HP burn ticking, so you want to keep the spiders alive. But then the only nuker I had was Royal Guard. So Royal Guard does way too much damage to the spider thing. So it was a lot of anti-synergy there where they're both good characters against the spider, but they have two completely different goals when they're trying to beat the spider. Whereas like a Cold Heart, for example, is nice because she doesn't do this crazy amount of AoE damage when she's nuking. But so that's another thing that I think is kind of cool about this setup is that it's all very seamless. You don't have to worry about like, oh, this move crit and then one of the spiderlings died, so then I didn't get enough poison explosion for the team. You never have to worry about that. Literally the only RNG in this thing is you have to get pretty unlucky because it's multiple characters missing a toxic set proc, and it's a 50% chance 4 times in a row. So it's very hard for this to fail. And let alone cool. It just looks cool, man. I just think it looks cool. Seeing all those poisons pop off and then you just nuke the spider. Because like currently right now I use a double Royal Guard, with Kymar nuke in like 22, 25 seconds. But this is way cooler. I don't even care about mine. Even if this one's not as consistent, this is still more badass. I think the coolest thing about this is that not only is it a one-shot of the spider, which is crazy, but it's full auto, which I think that's what sets this apart from I think I've seen this done before, but it takes a massive amount of stacking, like not even close. This is 18 seconds if everything works out right. This is so cool. So hats off to Darthtotes for figuring this out. I think stuff like this is awesome, especially that's one of the coolest things about this game is everyone's account is different. Everyone's champions are different, but he was able to take these champions and make something unique, make something cool. And so I think that's awesome. And I hope there's more innovation like this for the future from other people that are playing this game. Easily one of the coolest things about this game is how people adapt to their own champion pools. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you want more content like this, be sure to consider subscribing and you guys have a good one. Peace.